Hey everybody, Sean here, and welcome to Revealing Truth. I was thinking back to a time in my late teens when I was still unsaved and happened to walk by the Langley Vineyard Church. I popped my head in and there was a youthful crowd worshiping to some upbeat music, and the pastor seemed pretty cool too. This was some kind of a midweek service, and I thought, this place seems a lot more fun than the Salvation Army my family had taken me to as a child. And like many, even though I wasn't born again yet, I wore the title of Christian because I was raised that way and believed the basics. And at that time, I knew nothing about how bad Mormonism was. But I did know it wasn't Christian, so I thought I'd invite my friend to this church because it looked a lot more fun than what I was used to. I didn't have a regular church at that time, and I was also dating a girl named Heidi, so all three of us went to one of these midweek services. And everything seemed really good at the start. The worship was energetic, the crowd was mostly teens or early 20s, and even the pastor seemed younger than I was used to seeing. And when the lesson came, I remember parts clearly. It was about when Jesus told the disciples to cast their net on the other side of the boat in John 21:6. And they ended up catching more fish than they could handle. And the preacher was very animated with his story, adding his own bits of how these future apostles were responding. And so Jesus told them to cast the net on the right side. And these guys are like, who is this guy? We've been out here all night fishing and he's going to tell us what to do. But okay, why not? Yeah, sure, buddy, we'll do it. And they cast the net in, and guess what? They caught more than they could even imagine. Now, back then it seemed kind of funny, although now it seems it was a bit overdone like we often see today. But at the time it was appealing. And there's nothing wrong with adding a bit of humor to teaching within limits, although people like Mike Todd don't seem to have any limits, like with the example of wiping spit on that guy's face. But after the lesson was done, it continued into some kind of fellowship prayer time, and that's when things got weird. All these people crowded around me and my buddy and laid hands on us and started praying in what I can only imagine was tongues. It was totally unsettling, and I guess because we were the new people, these programmed youth just did what they thought they were supposed to be doing. Much like we see in these hypercharismatic circles today, but this was super uncomfortable. At the time, I'm thinking, what are you guys doing? I'm already a Christian, and you don't know anything about me or my friends. So why are you doing this? What is this supposed to accomplish? And why didn't you guys even say hello or talk to us first? Totally weird. But even the girl I was dating went along with it and laid hands on me and started praying. I looked at her shocked, and she just kind of looked back at me and shrugged her shoulders. I don't remember much after that, but I do know that I never went back there and my friend never went to church with me again. But I do think that this is at least one example of why we see so much confusion in this crowd. Many people are programmed at such young ages to act in a certain way and do certain things without fully understanding what they're actually doing. And we're seeing even more of this today within the so-called Christian church. We've got Bethel's indoctrination of past false teachers for kids. Sid Roth started his own show for kids. Gee, what could possibly go wrong? Jennifer LeClaire teaching seer activation for kids. And Jenny Weaver teaching deliverance for kids. And of course, there's lots of videos of people teaching kids to prophesy as well. But this is what's happening in the church today. The brainwashing starts early and becomes very hard to unlearn. Even Adolf Hitler said, "He alone who owns the youth gains the future." And this is exactly what Satan's doing today within the church to create confusion and lukewarm Christians that aren't actually saved in the first place. I'll never forget one thing I heard early in my walk. It was from Good Fight Ministries' Hell's Bells 2, or They Sold Their Souls for Rock and Roll. Not quite sure which one, but there was a band being interviewed called Insane Clown Posse, and these guys are just vile. But the statements they made were true yet scary. Somewhere along the lines like that if you don't train your kids, they will. If you're too busy in life to pay attention to what your kids are doing, then guess what? the world will gladly teach them the ways of Satan. And with all the garbage and deception in the church now, it's more important than ever to get your children founded on the rock, who is Jesus, not Peter. Proverbs 22:6 says to train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And that's what all with children should be doing. Anyhow, it was on my heart to share that story about my Mormon friend for some reason, and it seems that there was another message we could learn from this as well. But we are going to leave it here for today, so leave your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, take care and God bless.